Hey. Coach Wheeler here, and today I want to talk about imposter syndrome and why do we self-sabotage? Why do we actually ruin the things that we actually want? You know, the things that we go for. Why do we sometimes pull the rug from under our own feet and actually sabotage our own lives? Why do we do that? And how does imposter syndrome link to some of the ways or some of the characters that might do that to us, and how they ambush us, and sometimes do we understand why we do those things, why this happens? So the easy one to start off with is the perfectionist. The perfectionist is the person that has to get things perfectly right. It has to be 100%. You know, if it's 97%, 98%, 99%, that isn't good enough. So then what we do is we pull the rug out and say, it's not good enough, I don't want it, I can't have it, whatever, and then we just pull it out, which is a ridiculous notion. You know, nothing is ever perfect. You know, trying to attain perfection is a poison chalice, is a waste of time, you know. And it's almost, once you realize to appreciate that things will never be perfect, you can find solace in life or a calm feeling that you don't always have to achieve perfection, you know. That, you know, dinner, making the bed, you know, that report you did at work. There's always things you can improve on, and you can always say, well, I could do better next time, and you can educate yourself and learn from that experience to improve. But to try and attain perfection, nothing is perfect. Even Maradona's goal at the '86 World Cup wasn't perfect, but people will say it's a thing of perfection because it looks amazing, and it's a painting might be flawless. They might say it's flawlessly perfect, but nothing's perfect. Then other types of self-sabotage, you know, the imposter syndrome names that you can attribute. You also have one called the rugged individualist. I like this one. I think there's elements of myself in that, you know, where I want to do everything myself. I don't want to ask for help, and I kind of feel that I can do it all by myself, which is, again, is not correct. You know, sometimes you might run a little business, have a family, be doing something, and you need help. You need support, even just support to be great. If you think you're going to be the greatest ever, you still need support. And also, you might not be the best equipped to do that one specific task that you need doing within that organization, within that family, within that business, whatever it is that you're doing. So it's best to delegate it to someone else. You know, you go on a family trip, let someone else take care of the travel insurance and the organizing day outs and the trips and the accommodation and different things like that, because you get it wrong. You might be the creative one, or you might be the safety provider or something like that. So allocate the right jobs to the right person. You can't do it all on your own. So the rugged individualist can go out the window. Then you might have the child genius. That's another one, the child genius. You know, when you were a kid, everything came to you easy. You had a natural proclivity and a perspicacity that would do things easily. You know, basically you just adapted to things really well, or you had a tendency to do things and to do it well. So you might have been a bit of a child prodigy and found things really easy. Then when you grow up and go into the real world, and that can also be down to your parents might have made the situation a little bit easier for you, or gave you a good grounding to support you, which would be a very fortunate thing. But at the same time, then when you go into the real world and you find there's lots of other professionals or lots of other people at schools, university, jobs, within families, different things, you're not maybe the center of attention, you're not maybe the child genius, and that can leave us feeling empty and, well, I'm not the best of the best, so why should I bother, you know, which is, again, a stupid notion. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why people, why? But we do. We also have the expert. The expert is another favorite that I come across quite a lot, especially in my professional life. You know, when I go to businesses and I work in big corporations and work with different high-level managers, there's always the expert, the person that knows everything. No, I wouldn't do it this way, and well, that's not the way I would do it. And even though you might have some specifications set by industry experts and the governmental procedures and guidelines, no, I wouldn't do that. And even though I remember one time there was a building control inspector when I did some windows years and years ago. We fitted some windows and it had the British kite mark, so it passed the British kite mark standard. Doesn't mean to say that's necessarily the right thing, but he was questioning the validity or the you know, how right that was. He wanted to change it for his own specification. He was a better expert than the experts themselves. And again, that can sabotage the very thing you're doing, because you're like, well, I don't believe that's right, so, and you end up getting nowhere. The problem with all of these imposter syndrome types is that they never let you succeed at anything. It's almost virtually impossible to succeed. Even the final character, the superhero, is another imposter that we sometimes feel. The superhero that needs to swoop down and save the day. We need to do it in a heroic style and be so fabulous and fantastical. Then we do it, everyone praises us. We can't always be like that. Sometimes you have to work silently. Sometimes you have to do things for no praise. And with all of these things, the perfectionist, the expert, the rugged individualist, you know, it's worth remembering that your effort in life, whatever you do, is worthy. Even if it's 1% of something, it still accounts for something, even for yourself. And this is what we have to realize. You know, I've done it at times. I've tried to get things perfect and be the hero and be the rugged individualist and be the expert and do it all on my own and don't ask for any help. And wow, you managed to do this without any whoa and the credits and the applause that you want from the crowd, when really it's virtually impossible, and it's tiring and it's lonely and it's a poison chalice. You get nowhere. Now you might ask yourself, why do we do this? Why do we ruin the very things that we want? Why do we self-sabotage our own lives? This can be linked to lots of different things. One of them could be an incident when you were a child, when you're at school, when you're in a relationship, something that happened at a family vacation or at Christmas one day around your grandma's and you had an argument. And it can stem from an incident that happened where you felt embarrassed by a certain situation and you never wanted to be in that situation again. You thought, I'm never going to let myself be embarrassed like that again. So you then try and attain this perfection, attain this incredibly impossible task to be the best of the best, and it doesn't work. But also that could be linked or have underlying currents of fear, that you're almost scared to succeed, that you kind of think it's a lonely place and you can't. Do you really want that thing? And you might ask yourself, well, what do you mean, do I really want that thing? Of course I do. It's the thing I want more than anything. But you have to ask yourself, is it really that? Because sometimes even when you're given everything you want, we're still not happy. You know, so sometimes we do it as a self-defense mechanism where we kind of almost know that we're going to fail, and that's our secret get out of jail plan. You know, that we think, well, I know I can't attain perfection, so maybe if I tried to attain it and then I fail, everyone will say, well, you did a great job anyway, well done for trying, you know, you nearly were the best, you know, so it's cool. And sometimes we do that, and it can be linked to lots of different things. So it's worth looking at your values. Yes, I'm talking about it again, our values, our human needs, and how that links to our personality and our character. And it's worth asking yourself, what do you really want? What do you really want? Ask yourself that, because sometimes I've done that and I thought there's things that I really wanted when I really didn't want them, which seems stupid to say that in the same sentence. There was things I really wanted that I didn't really want. Doesn't make sense, but we do that. Sometimes we do that, and we can self-sabotage and use these characters and believe that we're imposters. There can be other things, you know, there can be low self-esteem, low confidence. You know, there can be situations that you're in that you might be feeling bullied, pressured. You might be doing it for external validation, you know, someone outside that you want their approval because you want them to like you, you want to be accepted by them. So you do these things to try to get that approval. And that can also lead to an imposter syndrome where you're not really the right version of who you are. So you set yourself up knowing you're going to fail or never being able to achieve that. And sometimes we delude ourselves. And it's funny to think, you know, I can hear all of you saying, why would I delude ourselves? But sometimes we do. And it's very hard to be self-critical. It's very easy to be self-critical, but it's also sometimes hard to see yourself from the outside. You know, that in that position, you might not be the best person to do that specific job. So give it to someone else and trust someone else to do it. And enjoy letting someone else do it. Enjoy letting people in. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the inclusion of the family and friends and work colleagues and your partner and different people to make the experience more fun. To make your life more fun, to make the world a bit more of a symmetry and a bit more of a harmonious place. Someone recently said to me, my beautiful, lovely lady said, are you gonna let her be your hammock, you know, your support network? And I thought, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Instead of being the lone wolf and doing everything myself, it's about time I settled down, which might seem crazy, although I have settled down before, but, you know, settled down for good. and let this person become my support network. And again, don't try and have this imposter syndrome and set myself up that I end up self-sabotaging myself without even realizing that I'm doing it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And I hope some of the words I've said today helped. I wanted to do this because recently I was sort of studying this and it came to my mind. I thought, wow, how does this, and sometimes when you're reading these things and studying these things, you think, wow, there's elements of me there, I need to look into this. So I hope that's helped. Like, subscribe, tell all your friends, look for more tips and advice from Coach Wheeler, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Have a wonderful day. Peace.